Hey, check this out.
Junk food video games! Have you ever been eating a bag of chips and thought, man, this would be far superior as a video game? Junk food is obviously food you don't need, it's food you want. So they have to come up with increasingly ridiculous ways to get you to part with your hard-earned clams. You don't need to market apples, but you do have to market whatever Chex is. I don't know how you would pitch Chex. Yeah, what if you could eat little pillows, but the nit on them was really big? Starting around the late 80s, the video game market became ubiquitous enough that these junk food companies saw it as another means of advertising. The children of America and beyond will be more enthralled with the idea of Chex Mix than ever before once they play our computerized video games. That's how you end it with stuff like Chex Quest, PC, and PC, just a PC game. Chex Quest is easily the most famous one on this list by virtue of the fact that it's one of the best ones and they just gave it out for free in a cereal box. You know, no having to pay money for it like some of these games expect you to do. Chex Quest is a non-violent first-person shooter, and that non-violent part I think is very important, obviously because this is a family-friendly brand, and this game in particular was aimed at about 6 to 9-year-olds. You couldn't have them running around like shooting people in the face or anything like that. This was a lot of people's first introduction to the first-person shooter genre. A lot of kids like me weren't allowed to play super violent things until I was a bit older. So stuff like Doom was off the table. Although I do have a memory of convincing my mum that you can do pacifist runs by just running past all the enemies, which you can do on some levels. And that was how I was allowed to play Doom. Conveniently as well, it is just Doom. It's literally on the Doom engine. They licensed it from id Software. Coming from Doom, the team had to change everything, all the assets, all the violence. They even had to change their original weapon, which was going to be more of like a classic ray gun. But the original idea was for them to be neutralized by nutritional foods like banana slices, milk, and strawberries. All things I guess you can put on Chex. But they were worried that this would encourage food fighting.
But no good if it hit him.
What child would see someone throwing fruit in a game and think, I've got an idea brewing. Here's the beautiful Chex Quest intro.
To an evil cereal-eating creature from another dimension. We call them flemoids.
So a couple questions just off the dome. They say they're evil cereal-eating creatures, but that's us too. That's just us. Is he meant to be cereal? Is that why they're evil? Because they're eating him? Or these cereal folk? Just eating cereal? Not really cause for genocide, I don't think.
Substances. The eggs hatch.
Okay, so these are cereal people. Right, that makes sense. Whoa. Really don't like that. That is horrifying. Not into that. Absolutely not into that. So anyway, Chex Quest was massively successful for fucking Milton Bradley or Target or whoever owns Chex. I've already forgot. AMC Cinemas. What a surprise. That would actually be surprising. Noted cereal scholar Scott Bruce decried General Mills' decision to invent a new mascot for Chex cereal for such frivolous purposes and dismissed the Chex Warrior as not compelling enough to sell the product. First of all, who wrote this? Fucking Scott Bruce, noted cereal scholar. That's one of the sadder things you could follow up the word scholar with. Chex Quest was really innovative for the time. 1997, a lot of houses are starting to get personal computers of their very own, and the idea of like software was just fun back in the day. I can't remember the last time I've gotten excited about software, but back then it was like, whoa, we got this new disk and it unlocks this new like thing the computer can do now. I don't know, it was such a cool idea, and to have that thing be a fun video game you got for free in a box of cereal, it's no wonder that they sold shitloads of these. I'm pretty sure I remember getting Age of Empires 2 and something. Can you imagine just opening a box of Chex cereal and they're like, yeah, here's Ghost of Tsushima. We bought it for you guys. You can just have it. Because these were full-on games. I mean, Age of Empires 2, giving that away for free? That's nuts. They wouldn't do that now because they've remastered it like 50 times. They went on to make 2 sequels for Chex Quest and an HD version, which was actually released for free. It was a side project for the original game's artist, Charles Jacoby, who's sort of remained a figurehead within the community. and eventually managed to get the go-ahead to release it by General Mills. You could be playing this right now if you want. Go over to Steam, it's free. Not to advertise their shit for them, but I mean, it is free, so that's nice of them, I guess. I even played it on stream. Here's a clip. Whoa! The game adds in one projectile and I almost die. Oh wait, hold on, we need to pull out the big guns for this one. Fuck! I often play games and do research for this channel over there, so if that interests you or any of the other exciting nonsense I have planned, like a World of Warcraft marathon stream where you can pay money to curse me, head on over to twitch.tv/ManyKudos. That's manykudos.biz.gov.com/biz.twitch. The Chex Quest artist Charles also did an interesting interview with Zam. You had the Chex license to work with, so aside from the character, was there anything else you had to work in brand-wise? And he says, yeah, of course, they were very adamant about, they just wanted the brand name everywhere. Obviously, putting it in the HUD was a big part of that. They liked the fact that we found a place for it in the HUD. So it was basically all there all the time. Don't forget, you're playing a Chex product. And then in moments of opportunity, stick it on doorways and boxes. We tried to be too obnoxious about it. I know at times it was, but we tried to do it at least somewhere where it would make sense that there was an ad there rather than just plastering it on the walls in random places, which, as you'll see throughout this video, is the route a lot of these games took. Oh. Hey, Kudos. God, you scared me, Wall. What's wrong, Kudos? We never hang out anymore. I guess I have been neglecting you a bit lately. Don't tell me, Wall. Is it because I'm ugly? No. Okay, yes, sorry. You're too bland. But look, this ends now, all right? I'm ordering you some disc plates. What's disc plates? Well, Wall, disc plates are unique metal posters featuring over 2 million artworks. That's more designs than there are people on Earth. From delicious original art to licensed work from Star Wars, Marvel, and even World of Tanks. Whoa, it's like a sponsor within a sponsor. Disc plates also make fantastic presents, arriving gift ready in under 5 business days. Oh. Or now? Wow, Kudos, these look great. But won't they damage your walls? Your landlord might take your security deposit. Not at all, Wall. With disc plates' magnet mounting system, you need neither tape nor tools, and they won't leave a mark. Though let's be real, my landlord is going to keep my security deposit either way. Oh my God! Wall, you look fantastic. Oh, thank you. When you know it, it's Displate's 12th birthday, and they want to celebrate with you. Nab yourself some free bonus birthday surprises in every order, and get the biggest discount of the year by clicking the link in the description below, or using my code, ManyKudos. There's no better time to decorate your grotesque flesh wall. Happy birthday, Displate! Of course, as popular and successful as Chex Quest was, it was not the first junk food video game. In fact, it wasn't even the first junk food video game based on a cereal. If you go back to 1984, you could be playing Weetabix versus the Titchies. For anyone who sounds like me, Weetabix is what they call Weet-Bix in the UK. And if you're from America, well, you can go fuck yourself because you don't have either. The Titchies is not a good name. I'm guessing that's part of some marketing campaign where this Weet-Bix type fellow fights the Titchies. That's something I've been reminded of a lot while researching this video, is how many of these brands, especially ones aimed at kids, were centered around the idea of like, here's our mascot, which is often a personified version of the food, and then here's a villain like character or race of characters. It's always like a personification of annoyance or hunger, or both. But it's funny just how unoriginal all of them are. I'll point them out as we go through. Unlike Chex Quest, you actually had to put in some fucking work for this game. You had to send away tokens from boxes. The old classic way of doing it. No freebies here. And this would work on the Commodore 64, which I think is probably the main one they were aiming for. But just in case you're curious, you can also... It was also on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum, much like you. The Amstrad CPC. And of course, the BBC Micro. The BBC Micro, which I was about to Google, but maybe I won't. You know, let's just look that up. What was... Okay, right. Here's the riveting lore for the Weetabix game for the fucking BBC Micro. The Weetabix are being attacked by the Titchies. Your job is to help them beat off these. Okay, well, Mom, can we buy more Weetabix so I can help beat off the BBC Micro? Sorry, the Titchies. I have to beat off the Titchies. Oh, in case you're wondering as well, Steve Clark worked on it, and he also had a BBC. The Weetabix are being attacked by the Titchies. Your job is to help them beat off these attackers. Your job is to help them beat off these attackers. I'm really trying. The Weetabix are being attacked by the Titchies. Your job is to help them beat off these attackers. Fortunately, the rest of the Weetabix have found a supply of Weeta rockets below the screen. Oh, that's convenient. Just below the screen. So with your help, Dunk can throw these up the screen to defeat the evil Titchy threat. Pretty standard, pretty easy to follow. Honestly, pretty good motivation. Kind of just looks like a funner version of Space Invaders. Jesus Christ. So let's just address the minion in the room. He looks like a minion. These sound effects make me want to blow my brains out. But honestly, the game looks pretty fun. Something about having to grab the rocket instead of just having infinite shots is a little bit more compelling, I think. Anyway, that was fucking Weetabix versus the Titchies. Moving on. All right, I think it's time to talk about the reason I decided to do this video. The real tipping point. A cluster of absolutely abysmal junk food video games. I am, of course, talking about the M&Ms games.
Gentlemen.
M&Ms is a weird brand because the candy's good and they've spent so much money to like ingrain themselves in so many parts of particularly American culture, internationally as well. They pop up as sponsors all over the place. Don't they sponsor car or something? I feel like I've seen a lot of car and M&M sponsorships. Editor, Google M&M car and put all the results on screen.
Are we winning?
When these newfangled video games came a swing, and M&Ms was there too. Now, ironically, not really so much for the early days of video games when M&Ms were probably one of the easiest things to render on old games. But M&Ms didn't actually start really coming into their own until the PlayStation era. Weirdly enough, I'm not sure like what happened. I don't know what like executive or CEO's like 10-year-old kid started playing Xbox and they were like, this is it, this is the future. But for whatever reason, at a certain point, they just decided, yep, we're going all in on M&M's video games. But we don't want to spend a lot of money or any money, really. Ideally, can the games just make themselves? Yeah, to me, it's such a baffling concept. I mean, none of these games have been like 10 out of 10 amazing, but these M&M ones that they seem to just think like, oh, people will fucking lap up anything. There's only like 10 video games, isn't there? So if we make an M&M's one, so we'll have like a 9% of the market.
Do you think I'm an idiot?
No, I know you're an idiot.
It's just odd. I guess maybe were they like aiming to just be bargain bin games that just keep the M&M's idea alive?
It's fucking $2.
But for some reason they decided to shit out multiple bad games, starting with M&M's, The Lost Formula. It's Crash Bandicoot. I told you. It's not even like oh, they took some concepts and like, no. It's Crash Bandicoot. Specifically just the like factory levels of Crash Bandicoot. Oh, and this one you only play as Yellow, the B character. I hope Red wasn't your favorite. Don't worry, they learned their lessons. In future M&M's games, you do get to play as multiple M's, I believe each one is called. The way that M&M's The Lost Formulas was sold to you with the box art was it's a high energy action math game, which math is really the proverbial hair in the soup there, isn't it? You kind of had me with everything and then you had to put math into it. Do companies even attempt to try and seem nice anymore? I'm not saying it's a good thing, but they at least back then were like, hey, we need to pretend like we care about like children's development or some shit. We've decided to add a math puzzle into every level. What that means is that at a certain point, the fun, exciting platformer gameplay is interrupted so that you can do times tables like this.
64 divided by 8.
fun. The funniest thing about this game and all of these M&Ms games is because it's a product and a product that doesn't have like a fantasy world, you know, woven into the marketing like Ronald McDonald's Land or any of that kind of shit. So all you've really got to work off is like the factory where they're made. And so without fail, I think every single one of these M&Ms games takes place in the factory. That was like their first and last thought is like, where does it take place? Oh, the factory. You know, that makes sense. Of course, they make M&Ms, it's in the factory, but duh. It just makes the M&Ms factory seem like the most incompetently run factory in the world because every game, without fail, starts with them being like, well, there's a mishap at the M&Ms factory and all the M&Ms have gotten loose. You have to collect them. As the big M&Ms, which again, that's never explained. You're playing as large sentient M&Ms who then create smaller versions of themselves to be eaten by people. The two biggest ones we struck a deal with, and now they feed us their children in exchange for their lives. It's a very dark world these little characters live in.
You're eating M&Ms.
Yeah?
M&M's The Lost Formula was a PC game and it was later ported to PlayStation and sold as M&M's Shell Shock. Came with a bit of extra content, like a level with a car. So that's kind of fun. No, it's not in the factory at least. The rendering's looking a bit rough though, but it's the PlayStation one, so what can you do? Honestly, probably not one of the worst parts of this game. We mentioned earlier about how there was a real fascination with characters like the Titchies. You know, just any of the misc characters that these fast food companies come up with to be like an antagonist in the ads. And M&M's went a step further by having the antagonist also be M&Ms, the M&Ms minis, who are kind of just treated as like an amorphous cloud of mischievous energy. Oh, they also removed the math, which is good because that was stupid to be in there at all. You can only play as the yellow M&M in both these games, of course, which is a bit of a shame because they could have had some kind of like dual protagonist thing, like Assassin's Creed Shadows. Although maybe if you could play as the brown M&M in this one, those Gamergate guys would like suicide bomb M&M's headquarters or something. Also, there's this quote under the video. Absolutely love your unfiltered raw footage. You're one of my favorite PS1 childhood memories. This is legit what gave me autism. Okay, here's another game. M&M's Mini Madness. It's a platformer, kind of like all the other ones, except you can change to different characters and they've got different abilities. Look at that seamless character change. It's like I'm playing Grand Theft Auto, but for chocolate. Once again, the factory is in disrepair. Yeah, I don't know. What do you want? It's M&M's Mini Madness with a Game Boy Color. You actually play as 4 characters in this one, which is interesting. Red and yellow, which makes sense. Green, which is the sexy lady M&M. And the blue M&M, who I had to look up. The game's pretty much exactly what you'd expect. A grab bag of various ideas from other games implemented, you know, half as well. Even IGN managed to give it a 4 out of 10. And those guys gave 9/11 a 5 out of 10.
What? Again?
Okay, those ones were kind of shitty, but these next two are really bad. These next two suck dick. Let's talk about M&M's Kart Racing. This is probably one of the most hated games I've seen, and I can see why. It's a Wii game, so you're already off to a bit of a rough start. Definitely in the Wii shovelware sphere of gaming. This game was so reviled that Guinness, of world record and beer fame, invented a world record of worst kart racer and gave it to them. I don't know if they actually invented it just for M&M's Kart Racer, but they did win that year's worst kart racer award in the Guinness World Records Gamer Edition. Earlier we were talking about Chex Quest. There was that interview with the games artist who said they tried to keep the branding as appropriate as possible so that it doesn't feel like it's being shoved down your throat or just plastered on random shit that doesn't make sense. This game did not get that memo. They really don't give a shit. Again, none of this feels particularly M&M's-y. You know, like it's just a random locker with M&M's graphics slapped on everything. And I mean, I know like what are you meant to do, I suppose? Not this. I don't know what to do, but not this. It feels like in the last month of development, they were like, oh, it's an M&M's game? Oh, okay, yeah, we can work that out. I never thought I'd complain that the game isn't branded enough, but like, look at these graphics they've decided to put on the cars. It's like they took the folder of pre-approved like M&M's vectors and PNGs and shit and just randomly slapped it on some kart models they had sitting around. Like, what the fuck is that? That's just like the full logo that would be on the packet of M&M's. They're like, yeah, just put it there, it'll be fine. Doesn't this make you want to buy an M&M? The fact this was developed by 2 companies makes me feel like one of them built this, again, very barely serviceable kart racer skeleton, and then the second company came in and put the M&M's branding on it. Okay, here's the chocolate factory yet again.
Approaching sound barrier! Perfect! Perfect start!
The voiceover appears to be recorded in a bin or possibly a dumpster. Other exciting M&Ms themed levels like Street. And of course, who could forget Farm?
Look, a nut.
Look, someone's nut. Also, I guess I've always taken this for granted, but you know when you finish a lap in Mario Kart and your character just keeps like driving around, like celebrating? They don't do that in this. So when you finish, you just stop moving and other cars just crash into you.
Do better next time.
I'm the champ.
You are the winner.
I'm the champ. They also made this into a DS version. It looks even worse somehow, which is impressive. They also removed all the quips. They just say that over and over. Here's a child reviewing this from 13 years ago, in case you thought this was some ironic attempt to parodying the angry video game nerds.
What can be said about the M&Ms? It's a franchise that you can eat. Now, M&M Kart Racing, it's just your basic racing game, but if you like M&Ms, just give it a try.
That's what folks were saying at the time. That's the boots on the ground reporting we needed back then. So, I mean, hey, this kid played the game and I didn't, so fucking I can't talk. All right, the last M&M's game I would like to talk to you about is another shovelware classic, another M&M's deep cut, M&M's Adventure. Now, this is technically box art. Pause the video, comment what you think the problem is going to be down below. Spoiler alert, it's another factory mishap. Once again, the M&M's factory is in complete fucking chaos. Whoever is in charge of it should be put down like a dog because they clearly don't know how to run a factory of the scale. So M&M's have gone on from ripping off Crash Bandicoot to ripping off Banjo-Kazooie instead, or other similar mascot platformers, which I suppose makes sense. They are mascots.
Wait, what?
M&M's Adventure, they took it down a bit of a different route. Instead of theming the levels around, I don't know, fire or ice or elements or different biomes or locations on Earth, they've decided to base it around holidays, like real life American holidays, which is bad for two reasons. The first being that this means it just doesn't translate to any other market. Even in other Western countries where we have a lot of crossover with American culture. We also don't celebrate 4th of July. They definitely don't in the UK.
Uncle Sam, are you feeling sick?
And Halloween's a pretty big thing internationally now, but I can tell you back in 2008, going trick-or-treating in New Zealand was tough. It was probably about 1 in 10 houses would do it. And then even if you do live in America and you are familiar with all these holidays, it means that unless you're playing this game around the time of one of them, it's just going to feel wrong. It's like watching a Christmas movie in the middle of the year. It's like, it's not saying you can't, but it doesn't feel right. You'll be watching and be like, oh man, I wish it was Christmas. Oh well. Whereas when you watch a Christmas movie around Christmas time, you're like, yes, I'm Christmas maxing. But M&M's is assuming that you've got such love for the 4th of July and Valentine's Day that you'll be like, wow, I can't wait to see what level's next. It also has some of the worst cutscenes I've ever seen.
I can't wait to get home and put out my stocking for Santa.
And it actually is a very innovative tutorial feature that I thought was quite cool. Instead of having pop-up explain it or having you organically learn it through gameplay, they just have the characters in the first cutscene dryly explain what you have to do.
120 candies have been ejected all over the factory. What can we do about it, Red?
Well, first up, I need to unlock the entry doors to each sector of the factory with my security key. Then, to turn off the security system so you guys can get in, I also need to unlock the security doors at the end of each sector.
Sounds tricky.
Yeah, the other complication is the new high-tech candy lock system I've recently installed. I'll just grab my wings and go out and take a look by myself then.
His wings? Is that something the red M&M has? He has wings? Is that part of his character? So yeah, in case that riveting explanation wasn't up, it's like Banjo-Kazooie or Donkey Kong. So you have to collect a bunch of shit, unlock doors. There's a really, really bad boss fight against Cupid for some reason.
Give me back my candies, you thief. You'll never escape from here as long as I'm in charge. Na 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 na. Catch me if you can.
Here's one of them saying, I'm coming.
I'm coming.
Yeah, this one you can also play as a few different characters, but I don't know, just looking at it pisses me off. If you'd like to see me play M&M's Adventure on stream, I'll try my ding-dong darndest to. But for now, we're going to talk about the California Raisins, the Grape escape. California Raisins, the Grape allegations. The California Raisins, the serial grapists. Can I do another one? No. Now here's a website you can trust, the Lost Media Wiki. So the California Raisins, the Grape Escape is an unreleased 1990 NES video game produced by Capcom that was scheduled for release in 1991, which features the California Raisins. I don't think we had these growing up. I'm pretty sure my first exposure to them was an Angry Video Game Nerd video. Also, pitching raisins is like an alternative to like pretzels and chips and shit. Get the fuck out of here, man. Raisins suck. No one's ever excited to see a raisin cookie. The funny thing is I think at least one person's going to dislike this video because I said that. If you hate raisins and having to do homework, like and subscribe. So the game itself was cancelled due to its dwindling popularity in the 1990s, and the game wouldn't resurface online for another 13 years until a prototype of the game was found in Florida in 2003 by Eddie Murphy. Let's play the California Raisins Statutory Grape. We need your help. The California Raisins band and all of their music has disappeared. That would suck. Naturally, we're going to start on the grapevine. That all makes sense. Yep, no, this makes perfect sense to me. I believe you come. Yes, he shoots it out of his raisin gun that all raisins have. I'm not sure who these characters are. They clearly deserve death. One of the funner platformers I've played on this list. The controls at least feel like pretty tight, and the enemies are like not too bullshit, which is a rarity for this kind of game. It seems like the game is completely finished except for this climbing animation. It's kind of actually just jacking the pole off, isn't he? Comment down below if he's just jacking off the pole. Whoa, you can moonwalk by holding shift. Does that kill anyone? Can I kill this dude? Okay, you just die. Unfortunately, due to the decline of raisins, it had to be cancelled. And good thing too, because I hate raisins. Fuck raisins. After an article was published, game collectors began haggling with Brandon to sell the game and release the ROM image. And so the cart was sold to a collector, followed by a ROM image being released on August 1st. And that is how we're able to play this beautiful game. Very nice. Oh. All right, welcome to the soda portion of the video. We've got multiple soda games. More than you'd think. I'd like to talk to you about one of the most famous soda-style games, Pepsi Man! If you don't know who Pepsi Man is, he is a Japanese Pepsi creature. A Japanese Pepsi goblin, I guess. I don't know. It's like a very 80s, 90s Japanese Power Rangers-esque character who delivers delicious Pepsi to the children of Japan.
They want Pepsi, and the word is that they're just about to riot.
Maybe that's what Kendall Jenner was on. But maybe that was why she was delivering Pepsi. She heard this man's exasperated cries that there's a riot about to break out because of a lack of Pepsi, and she's like, I know what'll fix this. Is this guy trying to get subscribers off uploading the Pepsi ad? Now I'm more interested in this. Sorry. Please subscribe, as I'm unable to monetize my channel because of this video. At least the increasing subscriber count can give me some motivation every day. Thank you very much. For copyright reasons, I did not use the original music Pepsi used. This is not the original audio. Then why the fuck did you upload it, man? Let's just see what all those subscribers inspired Yash Yadav to do. He's got such videos as color exploding video, in parentheses blue. Yeah, man, real shame you weren't able to monetize the channel. But either way, Pepsi Man was a Japanese exclusive game, but has kind of gained a cult following. It's very camp, and it leans into the branding so much that it almost comes around from being shameless to being like respectable. It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a fucking Pepsi commercial. What do you want? So the game is just an endless runner, kind of temple runny in a funny way, where you're running, you're avoiding obstacles, you're collecting Pepsi, having a great time. You can jump, you can dive, you can duck, you can drink Pepsi, obviously. All right, let's move out of the dark, the evil world of colas, and into the light fizzy world of lemon lime beverages. We're going to be talking about the 7-Up video game. Now, I hate 7-Up. I think 7-Up tastes like pants. Apparently, the youth of America thought the same thing. Interestingly, while looking into this, I found out some interesting history about 7-Up. Their slogan was "Uncola." 7-Up managed to gain some traction by being like, yeah, cola's for those stuffy adults waging the Vietnam War. Us cool, progressive youth love nothing more than being anti-establishment, and there's nothing less establishment than a major international corporation. So that works. It is funny though, like, I guess seeing the parallels between this and the Kendall Jenner Pepsi ad, where it's like both of these sodas were trying to like ride off the, disillusioned young people. As much as I hate 7-Up, I do think they handled it a little bit better than Pepsi. Just having a kind of general air of like anti-conformity was enough to kind of get their product to resonate with that demo, instead of Pepsi coming in and being like, hey, Next time you're at a Black Lives Matter protest, have you tried giving the cop a Pepsi? That'll ease tensions. That was the one thing holding everyone back. It was just a nice cold can of Pepsi delivered by billionaire Kendall Jenner. Unfortunately, by the 90s, 7-Up's popularity had fallen once again and ironically started to become known as a drink for old people yet again. So they tried to revitalize it with cool characters like the Spot. I have a very weird memory of this game, even though I don't think we ever had the cool Spot as a character on TV in New Zealand. This game just somehow made its way over anyway. The first one that I can find is a platform game, Spot: The Cool Adventure, even though his name is Cool Spot. So interestingly enough, it's actually a port of NES game MC Kids, which is a McDonald's themed platform video game. Now don't worry, I will be covering this in my next video on fast food video games, but for now we're still in the realm of junk food, so that's a little teaser for next time. Both published by Virgin Games, which again is the games company that you would make if you know. It is interesting that they just kind of had this like shell, this sort of Super Mario Brothers 3 type game that they could just easily swap out to the main sprite and have it become any brand. Spot: The Cool Adventure isn't the most exciting one. The one you really want to keep your eye out for is Cool Spot. Just Cool Spot. Much more direct to the point. Quite like this cover art too. Very 90s, very fun. This was a platform game for the Mega Drive / Genesis, the SNES, the Master System, Game Gear, Game Boy, Amiga, MS-DOS. Jesus Christ, that's the like 90s equivalent of being like, yeah, it comes out on the Switch, PS5, whatever the latest Xbox is called. I can't remember. PC, Mac, Steam, Steam Deck, Steam Deck 2, weird Game Boy thing on Temu I keep getting ads for. And the Soldier Boy. Cool Spot can jump and can attack by throwing soda bubbles in any direction. Seems like one of those things the fucking the suits would come in and be like, we don't want people to think that the lemonade can hurt them. Because what if they stop buying a product? You need to change it so that he's got a gun. The Sega version actually kind of sick. It looks great. Very fun animation. That's just the default walk cycle. That's kind of sweet. Big bottle of 7-Up. Crabs you can kill. Fuck it, let's play Cool Spot. Also, not a fan of when he takes his glasses off, he has no eyes. Lot going on here. If cool, collect these. Alright. Alright, so we have to collect 60 cool points, which is what I try to do most days I go out. Crabs have little pants. That's kind of fun. Look, it's a pretty well-made game, honestly. Still kind of insane that they expect you to pay money for this, but you know, as far as product placement goes, I guess it could be more obnoxious. And much like the Doom guy's face getting bloodier, your sticker peels off in the top left corner the more you get hit. Let's get fully peeled off. Oh, no, he's actually fine. They're like, no, we cannot have the mascot fucking die. Anyway, that's Cool Spot. The Spot, like, it's alright. I wouldn't say it's, like, that cool. But outside of America, in the European release, the 7-Up bottle was removed from the intro, replaced by a generic soda bottle of similar color, as well as the 7-Up logos being replaced by red discs with the Virgin logo. So you're just swapping out one brand for another brand. I mean, I guess they did publish it, but still. The reason for this is that outside of the US, the mascot for 7-Up is not the Cool Spot. It is another character named Fido Dido, or something or other. It's a guy. The character was licensed in 1998, but the character did not receive much attention or popularity until the early 1990s, when he appeared on numerous products, particularly stationery, 7-Up ads, and boxer shorts. Either way, Fido Dido was a Doug-adjacent character, a kind of, I don't even know what you'd call this art style, Doug-like. Wouldn't you believe it? They also gave him a game for the Genesis. Much like Cool Spot, the Fido Dido game and I guess branding in general was just so obsessed about the idea of like being cool. Like, yeah, we're cool. It's the Cool Spot. He's chill. He's a fun guy. He's hanging out. Riding that counterculture, youthful energy that they struck gold with in the 60s. Legal stuff. Produced at teeny weeny games. Oh, this is Fido. He's so cool. Always got his hands in his pockets except when he's jumping. Whoa. I do love the duck. Just, oh. Okay, Is this an enemy or is this a good thing? Okay, that's an enemy. And it appears to be a can of, I'm going to guess, Pepsi or possibly a rival soda. That's a reminder, by the way. If you eat any rival sodas, then 7-Up. This is what's going to happen to you. You will die. Oh, so you won't die. You'll lose your cool meter. So that's Fido Dido. Again, I'm not really sure. Like, these are all... It's weird. It's very weird to have games like this that are ostensibly ads for company, but they still expect you to pay money for it. Like Chex Quest and some of those early games were free prizes for purchasing the product, which is like, that seems kind of fair. It's a promotion. Don't have to pay for it. Oh, sorry, you do have to pay for it, but you get a delicious box of Chex cereal with it. What better reward? It's a reward in itself. And the few times that companies have tried this more recently as well, they've also learned, hey, we're competing with like a million things for your attention. And people are more savvy than ever about advertisements and being marketed to. So they put things out as more of like a free, like, here's a fun little gimmick we've made. For about 20 years there, these companies were really like, yeah, you're going to pay for a fucking bullshit advertising game and you're going to love it. So that was a little jaunt into the world of junk food video games. I put this out as a PSA for everyone to be constantly vigilant about the insidious nature of marketing and capitalism. So stay vigilant, stay smart, stay beautiful, and of course, enjoy a delicious ice cold Coke Zero. Available now at your local greengrocers or corner store. Coke tastes better. I love to drink cans of Coke. Coke, the good stuff. Coke, it's piss. Coke, the piss maker. Coke, the piss maker. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you like this kind of bullshit, like and subscribe, and then subscribe again, and then like again, but make sure you don't undo the liking or subscribing. If you do, please do it again so that it sticks. You're actually allowed to click those buttons as many times as you want, as long as it ends with it, on. We have a video out in a couple weeks about fast food video games. So if you like this and you wish it was hot and steamy and delivered by an Indian man, then I will see you then. Oh, and fantasydivision.com, patreon.com/ManyKudos, twitch.tv/ManyKudos. Just all the classics. It's all down. It's down there. Go look down there.